Hello and herzlich willkommen zum Auf die Fresse, the WXW review podcast in English. I'm Ian Hamilton, as always, joined by Mike Kilby. And Mike, it's been a while, but we've got a hell of a stuff to show. But how's things been?
Yeah, it's all been good. We say the clocks have gone forward or back. Forward? What have they done?
Back in autumn, yeah.
They've changed. The
It
clocks have
started leaving
changed,
and coming back from work.
Yeah, so it's horrible all day now. So yeah, that's how it's going.
Especially today. Absolute torrential rain getting to the office, going out lunch and coming back, just about finished. So yeah, absolute fun. But yeah, feels like it's been more than a month, but like 4 wheel of wrestlings to go through, a couple of shotgun vlogs, and yeah, fair bit of news. And I guess we're going to start with something, it's a month old now, but it had a lot of people chatting when this broke, like I say, this time last month. So was it back in February, was the news story about WXW had a partnership with Access All Arts, like a promotion group. And Matt just came to an absolute, I don't know if car crash is the right word, but just, I say tumultuous end, just a wave, way it came out, the wave back and forth went. So October 12th, WXW put a statement on their website and, tweeted out as well, querying something that Triple H put on their, I think it's their Facebook page, saying the October 7th event in Magdeburg was, quote, our last event with WXW as a service provider, noting we were going to continue to offer wrestling but with someone else. WXW noted in their initial statement they hadn't received any cancellation from them and they'd already booked performers and staff for those shows. The next one was due this coming weekend in Saarburg. Claimed it sent multiple emails, had no response. Then WXW took ticket sales off for those upcoming AAA shows, and then asked asked fans to confirm AAA or through AAA for the cancellations. That led to a quick confirmation through AAA, but yep, they were gone. Now, AAA bought 9 shows in that partnership, was announced back in February. The cancellation, they said, came after around 2. Things like Saarburg, Görlitz, and the Salzgitter show from last September had been rearranged to next September, was off the books. And then it raised a lot of eyebrows because, there's a very public, end to things, I guess. And there was a lot of people online, the eyebrows being raised like, well, Dennis Berkendale left WXW in May and, joined AAA in July. Again, I don't know if that's where, you should or could point fingers, but it just seemed a bit weird how you do a couple of shows with WXW and now we're going to get it's like, was it a famous Ted Turner quote, hey Vince, I'm in the wrestling game, all that in German I guess, but I guess the upshot, AAA said they told WXW back in August they were cancelling the agreement, but we're going to do the Bremen and Magdeburg shows, I guess, as a gesture of goodwill. I mean, Bremen is the first show, wasn't it? Remember correctly.
Bremen was all-in weekend.
Yeah. So you had, I think, Michael Oku going from opening Bremen to barely getting the copper box in time for Rev Pro the next day. They disputed, AAA disputed the version of events around eventum refunds, questioned why WXW would book performances for shows they were told were cancelled, and then went on to announce their debut wrestling show. So AAA, Access All Arts, I don't know what they're going to be calling the promotion. I mean, there is a much more famous AAA in the world of wrestling, so maybe a new name needs. I think right now they're just calling it Live Wrestling, but it's in Emden on December 30th,
So near the
and
Dutch border.
yeah,
It's not far from where the Papenburg is.
Papenburg, yeah. I was looking. I know this is massively off topic, but isn't that roughly the part where Walter used to live? When he did the WWE promo, like the vignettes, It's like he's very close to that Dutch border, which pretty much commutable. But the names they initially announced, one for the say tinfoil hat wearers, but if you had a particular narrative you want to follow us into, Bobby Gunn's first name announced, then Metahan, then Ian Simmons, then Michael Knight, then Tommy Geeson. It's like first five names all very heavily, most of them very heavily linked with WXW, and then most recently Tim Stubin, Mila Schmidt, Zeritus, Aytash Bahar, and Pascal Spalter, I guess from the GWF camp, mostly want to reduce Germany to two promotions. But yeah, it's been amongst, so I guess, a lot of the, I don't know, hysteria is the right word, but a lot of the intrigue, I guess. It's just settled a lot on this, but to me, it's very strange you would sign up to do 9 shows, cancel for even a single one of them, and then decide to run a promotion yourself.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I can't really comment on that because that's something that they will never get an answer of why that has happened. But I think at least in terms of just for clarity for these things, they have signed these workers. They signed Bobby Guns, Jörn, Michael Knight, etc. But they're not exclusive deals, so they can still work elsewhere. That has been confirmed by AAA.
Yeah, pretty early on, in fact. I think people were
because I
trying
think
to get the needle in.
that was the main, I think, concern I had is Germany is a very small market as it is. There's already enough. There's already enough of a split in the country in terms of you don't work here because you work there, and just granular, making it even more granular by having a third, let's say, big promotion. I mean, there's lots of promotions maybe on a second level in Germany, but at the top table, it's WXW and GWF. That's that. Let's face it. It appears that the AAA. I'm going to say AAA. It's easier. It appears that AAA is. I mean, I would say it's aiming for that sort of level. I would say.
I mean, you don't make
But
these kind of signings. Like,
yeah,
I mean, we've seen. I'm not going to throw names out because it'd be unfair to any of these. But like, your first announcements, you've got, in the first 3 names, you've got 3 former, well, 2 former WXW champions. You've got a former 16 Carat winner in Metahan. Pretty big names to come out the gates with. And then, okay, Michael Knight, very recently, he's,
well,
had
Guns
a
and
bit of
Knight were
research.
tag team champions going into the most recent
Yes,
weekend. I say Metahan is fresh off of somewhat fresh off of a WWE run, and Jörn Simmons has consistently been a successful draw in WXW for 9 years, probably knocking on a decade.
yep.
Tommy Geeson is probably outside of maybe the referees. Outside of the referees, is probably the most well known non wrestler in Germany.
The face and voice of WXW,
Yeah,
arguably.
exactly. So I think that's not a. They're all very very shrewd signings. Likewise, the we say the GWF wrestlers, Tiny Tim, you got Milošević, Ziritus, Itak, and Pascal Spalter. I've kind of always thought that. Well, I think I can't remember if it was on the last podcast or if I said it to you in person, but I've always thought GWF as a promotion has always ran the risk of Berlin is one of the greatest cities not only in Germany or Europe but in the world. It's one of the greatest cities in the world, and they only need somebody to come in to Berlin, like someone like, well, I'm not saying Progress, but someone like making something like Progress in Berlin, and they could find themselves right up the creek.
Yeah.
And feel like if you can, because for all the wrestlers that we mentioned before, I think are decent wrestlers. There's a lot of dross there's a lot of dross in GWF, and if they, I've always thought if you can take off the top level of GWF workers and bring in people that people love from WXW and outside, it could really have serious implications for someone like GWF. So, um, Yeah, I think it's an interesting sort of occasion that is happening. I think nothing will really be happening unless, apart from the odd announcement of signings or matches before the end of December. So that's probably going to be more of a story for 2024 than 2023.
Yeah, especially
There's
if it gets taped and where it lands. If it does get taped or get released anyway.
yeah, and yeah, that's the other thing. We don't know. Is it making tape? Is it just for local crowds? I mean, if it makes tape, then brilliant. I'm all for watching a show like this because it's got people I like on it.
Yep.
Likewise, I'm always happy to watch GWF because I love the way it's promoted. But it's yeah, it's. I hope it's not going to end up being a you work here, you can't work in WXW situation because that's bad for everybody, basically.
Yeah, and I guess again, tinfoil hat time. I think it's only natural people looking, how like Bobby Guns. I mean, we said he went into the last tag festival as a tag team champion. Now he's back in the singles ranks,
Yeah.
and I think it's extremely natural for people to go looking at this and go, okay, well, how's he going to be used? Like, I'm not saying, oh, knee jerk response. We'll book him as a superstar because we don't want people to think. We will book him as the next Goldberg and win every match because we don't want people to think, that we're looking at AAA and being petty or anything like that. But I think it's going to be very interesting to see, like, Bobby Guns, since when he's had, the Bielefeld match, which he lost to Axeman, which we'll talk about soon. Jörn, since since Tag Festival, the only appearance he's had was in Bad Sacking last weekend again, team with Huber, like we all predicted before Tag Festival.
In fairness, Jan doesn't tend to do the shows in the East.
Oh no, but I'm saying it just in
Yeah.
general, like
Yeah.
no mention, like not even any of the shotgun vlogs. It feels like so. It's
Metahan's been AWOL since I don't even think he did Shortcut, did he?
got. I will look in that. I know because I know we
Let's
like
say he's been since the summer. He's been AWOL. Michael Knight walked out on Michael Knight said goodbye after Tagfest, and Tommy Geeson kind of is here and there occasionally. I
yeah.
don't know whether he'll be um, on the Frankfurt show. I think that'll probably be the tell. But I think at least he tends to only do the marquee events now, from what I can tell.
So the last show Methan was part of was Wheel of Wrestling 49 in Hamburg in August.
Yeah,
Wasn't part of Shortcut, but remember before the Summer Pals was that whole thing. I think we questioned. The one of the shotgun vlogs, him and Rambo
they
announced
announced
themselves for the Tag Festival, and then oh
disappeared.
yeah, so again, not saying anything's happened. Could just be simple. No agreeing of dates. Absolutely don't go into any machinations there. But yeah, you've got a couple of names who one absolutely front and center for WXW, another one, as I say, say talismanic in terms of Jörn, in terms of his ongoing presence and his position. It's not like he's since he's won the belts, it's not like he's been like opening match, filling a card. He's been some presence on the shows, but I think with AAA stuff, it depends whether this, like, say, is it a one-off in Emden because the night before it's like a female AC/DC tribute band, which
Sounds like a cracking weekend. I'm not going to lie.
I mean, what I would always say over here, I'm not going to name names, that absolutely be called AC/DC,
Oh right.
and that's the sounds it deserves. But yeah, I mean, like I say, I think in terms of I guess the natural response was, oh my god, it's not the sky is falling, but because like I say, there's a lot of small promotions in and around Germany, some that started up and I say had to retreat quite quickly from their grand ideas. But it is pretty regional. WXW is pretty much the only promotion in Germany that tours the whole country, and even now it's not what it used to be. You've got GWF from Berlin. As I'm frantically looking through Cage Match for recent results. GCW not that one in Bremen resurfaced over weekend. You've got what is it?
Well, I always say there's lots of companies always on the second level. Obviously, you have Cult in the
yeah.
Europa. You have East Side Wrestling in.
What did he say? Use Next Step?
East side used to be Pro Wrestling Deutschland, and then which used to be next to it.
And Cage Match helped puts East Side as their own promotion. So, like I say, it is very much split up. I guess if you want to say, Pro Wrestling Nova, they've kind of linked in with GWF. So it's all very regional. And if AAA, whatever they're going to call their thing, is is going to be regional in the Northwest, or NRW again, that's going to be interesting because it's the first time for a long while WXW have had any competition. If this is going to be just more than one and done, I guess a lot of this hangs on how does that Emden thing perform.
Yeah, where do they, and also where do they do shows beyond that? If they go the whole country, sorry, it's that's a different story, isn't it? I mean, I look at a city like Cologne, for example. Cologne used to have WXW shows all the time. That doesn't have shows anymore, and
Yep.
I don't know whether there's a reason for that. Whether there's a local promoter maybe not so bothered about it, but I mean, Cologne used to be one of the they used to do these shotgun tapings there, didn't they?
Yeah. And I don't know if this is still true today, but I remember when those shotgun tapings, were halted for one better word. The story going around was something about the city not wanting wrestling, like the mayor, the local authorities not being too keen on it. I don't know if that's the venue's owned by them and the prices got jacked up. But I'm looking on the AAA website and they've got this AAA fighting series MMA. We've been talking pretty much all year, it feels like, about WXW and GMC. Maybe that's something. Again, it's a brand. Both seem to be brand new companies because this fighting series is. We've got a belt that looks very much like one that WWE wouldn't say no to, just from a picture I've seen. I mean, some of the venues they've gotten. I'm desperately trying to look at some of the places they run. Like I swear it was the Grünspan thing I was looking at. Yeah, the Grünspan they run shows at now. I don't know if that's a AAA venue. Mm-hmm. I'm looking now. Jazik, no idea what that is, but they're running in December 5th and 6th in the Grünspan. And I'm going to take this out of English translation because it's translating everything horribly. Let's see, Scroongespan event, Axolotl events. It's trying its best to translate into English, but so yeah, we've got Grungespan and Hamburg. Just seems if any of us would jump out in terms of what we'd recognise from WXW. Nope, just about one for the moment with their running. So I mean, obviously we have our own venues, like say the venue in Bremen they ran was a AAA venue. I definitely want to keep a close eye on, even if the immediate future ain't going to be anything too say scene changing, but if everyone starts somewhere, and we'll see whether it's a one off or it's going to be like hand in hand, a gig on a week on a Saturday, wrestling on a Sunday. And very interesting as well to see if this does dial up anywhere. Where does it run and how does it mesh in with WXW and obviously GWF as well? Because I've noticed both WXW and GWF have announced a lot of their shows for 2024 already, and you'd expect if they've got dates and venues, names to be booked as well. So see where that goes in terms of do people does this become some kind of wacky bidding war and names get pulled or get dropped? But so yeah, end of just for New Year's this year. Triple A's first show. We'll see if it makes tape or whether any buzz comes out and what kind of audience, if any, it draws. But so I guess a few news bits before we move on to the WXW shows. So the Academy title changed hands again. I think it was last weekend. I think a week ago today as we're recording. Danny Frey beat Nick Schreier for the Academy title. I think Nick had lost it to Alex Duke in Hungary back in August and won it back.
Was that on Wednesday Heat?
Wednesday Night Heat, which I mean, what we'll say is some of those shows, like I don't know what the numbers are, but the results seem to be very like you're getting a lot of names and faces you don't normally see. Like that Wednesday night heat show last Wednesday, Shikahiro Uri and Mark Empire against Alex Crane and Alex Duke, Jacob Crane and Alex Duke, LSG against Aaron, Kohai Kanoshita against Boris Payne, which means Kanoshita gets an Academy title shot, I would guess, next week. Frey beating Nick Schreier for the Academy belt, and then, of course, the natural thing, a 3 stages of hell match, Ava Everett and Peter Tahani, catwalk, dance off, and no holds barred. Just as we all expected. Then a couple of weeks before you had names like Stephen Wolf in from America, Hyan, of course, produced over then. So it's not just Academy guys. You get names from across Germany, across Europe. Look, decent shows. I mean, we're not making tape, but it's a fun flick through on the Instagram stories at least when photos are going through.
Yeah, they're doing small highlight packages, aren't they? You get in the odd sort of clip of the matches. They're on the YouTube.
Yeah. And again, I mean, I think we worked out was if they keep doing the fortnight cadence. It will be one hitting over Carat weekend next year. I think that'd be a long weekend. But I think as well, didn't they also announce they're running Raw until the end of November now? I swear they'd announced they'd extended a couple of these heat shows. Like we announced a few, and I think next week was the last one. But they seemed, at least I remember, they seem to have announced a few more. So it looks like it's I'd say working's a bit strong, like it's going to be successful, but it seems like it's doing what we're expecting to do anyway. So yeah, we've got that. Of course, we mentioned Bad Sacking in last weekend. Didn't make tape, but that had the debut of Hubert, who chokeslammed David Everett so hard his head fell off. And all I can think of
information of who it is.
Kayfabe, but all I'll say is he may be rot off lots.
Okay.
Is all I've seen. But yeah, just made me think, if you can keep your head on all about you losing wares and blame it on you, yours is the earth and everyone that's in it. I mean, whoever's in that bear costume.
Okay.
As Rudyard Kipling did not say. Got a couple more names for Carat. El Hidro del Dr. Wagner Jr. was added. He was the GHC national champion in Noah until a couple of weeks back, losing to Jack Morris. It had that belt for the best part of the year, which, I know Noah's one of those they tend to hot potato some of their belts. So having a belt like that for a year and not being a guy who flies in and out, that definitely says something. And we're gonna have to shorten this guy's name because El Hidro de Dr. Wagner Jr. is just such a mouthful. Like that Wagner 3G, I think I've seen them use in Japan.
Wagner 3G, okay, fair.
So maybe that's the shorthand everyone runs with. And then announced on the Shotgun Vlogs earlier, Joseph Fenech Jr. So I think that brings up to 5 names announced. And then also announced today Michael Oku and Alex Kane. They're both going to be the 23rd anniversary show next month, and it's 16 Carat Gold qualifiers. So at the very least, by Christmas, we will have 6 names for Carat, which ain't bad going.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, Wheel of Wrestling, 4 shows since we last recorded. I'm not going to go through all of these. What I'll say is there's an
the spicy nuggets out of it.
Absolutely cherry pick. Bielefeld open out was the best thing on the card by far, and it wasn't even advertised in advance. Axel Tischer against Bobby Guns.
I would say it's the best of the tour.
Yeah, best from the October shows, definitely.
It was the best of the 4 shows, basically. I thought it was it was really, really good. They've got a history of having good stuff anyway. So
it was a shortcut to the top last year.
Yeah,
I had like this. I'm saying this in the. I'll say it, like mid-card match was way better than anyone expected to have any right to be for that spot on the card. Like, we were both great workers. It was more, it felt like a throwaway match when it was announced, and then it just blew everyone away.
I think it was the best match outside of the Weekenders.
Yeah.
This was a very good one again.
They had Ilya Bloom beating Lawrence Roman to win the shotgun belt. That was the main event.
Yep.
Pretty good match. Yep. I mean, bear in mind, was it Tag Fest weekend? Bloom was losing to Francesco Akira, so but it, some of his stuff from the shotgun vlogs, kind of, paints a picture with Amboss, which, maybe swerve, maybe, the direction we're going into Carat weekend, but yeah, all not well within the Anvil group, shall we say. Again, just looking through, they ran through Maggot beating Heisenberg in short order. He's righting his past wrongs, I guess, before he gets his title shot in Frankfurt this weekend. And we kept up High Performer Limited stuff. Aigle Blanc and Irie ending in no contest when Tristan Arch and Anil Marek ran in. So that kept going, and the whole thing, for this at least, was Robin Christopher Forver wooing Joseph Fennick Jr., which pays off during the Saxony run, which going through. So Wheel of Wrestling 52 in Limbach Oberfrona. I say it was fine. There was nothing really musty, I guess. It'd push Axeman and Nigel Blanc, but again, that just was more Axeman getting wins under his belt after the rotten weekend he had in Oberhausen.
Yeah, I think if you were sort of skipping through, the Axeman stuff is good. Obviously, the Irie stuff was good. I thought Mudo and Tihani's sort of work over the tour was very good as well.
Can we talk about that? Because I know when these cards came up, I would say whiplash is the wrong word, but so they were tag team in GWF until very recently. I think these matches got announced when they split. They were tag champs in Berlin. They've done I think it's Mudo turning on Tihani, which we've only done one angle, so I'm not going to comment on where it's going, what have you. But it seems a bit weird how Tihani went from elongated for obvious reasons, best of 5 series of Axeman, and he's now in a tag team with a guy who their own promos couldn't buy a win. Like,
yeah, but he's really... sort of he's kind of given him a bit of a mojo again, really, isn't it? And I think at least from a work perspective, I think they're producing some very, very exciting matches. I'm enjoying watching them. So
I mean, Vin Nung's been great roster. It's just more I don't say the optics, but just the whole. You've had him beat a top kind of company in a best of 5 series, and now he's in a tag team. Like, to me, it just felt like, was there another plan they had? But they switched. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just, to me, it may not been. It absolutely isn't anything I would have done with it.
I do get that, but I think the issue is like Maggot's in that position at the moment. Tischer's got his own thing with
Hackle, Sebastian Hackle.
Yes, I was going to say Sebastian Holnickel. I don't think he's got a problem.
That we know of.
That we know of anyway. He's a better commentator than Hackman anyway. He's got this whole thing with Hackman. So it's kind of, I think, really, he's in a bit of a holding pattern anyway. So I think giving him, Tish, he's definitely sort of lit the fire under Mudo anyway. Because I think for you, obviously, Mudo was the star of the COVID era, and then he sort of comes out of the COVID era and he's absolutely nowhere. But he's been with Tihani and he seems to have kicked it into gear.
The old form's back.
Yeah, so I mean, in a way, I don't really have a problem with this at all. It's interesting enough, and Tihani's bought. He doesn't have anything to prove at the moment because he's beaten the best wrestler in the company.
Yep. So we've got that direction going through with Mudo and Tihani. Guess elsewhere in most shows, said Axeman, Aigle Blanc. They did Dreisker, Icarus, and Roman beating Hector, Cash, and Maggot, with the whole storyline being that Dulnig was late for the show, turned up halfway through the match, and ended up having his briefcase used to hit Hector for the win, which, it is what it is. I mean, again, I think, like, with the Cash and Hector team, like, we had the, before the injuries, where they were the, love to hate each other kind of pairing. And then they got on the same page, and now, especially on the Saxony run, we're back to Dulnig playing the full, which works for this weekend, but it's like you're very much in danger of stepping back away from you've told the story of them being Hector being the hard ass, Dolnick being the lovable goof, and then you're going back to telling that story again. It's like, no, I don't know. There's just something about the whole thing, especially when you're watching three shows doing the same thing back to back to back. It just feels a bit like, did we really need to see all this again?
It was. I 100% agree with you. I kind of basically thought I saw the same show 3 times.
I mean,
Sorry, 4 times. So
and this is absolutely harsh, but this comparison, speaking to someone else and made a similar comparison. Remember that run when Martina, she went to Japan, came back, and she was, I want to say, IR serious wrestler like Tim Thatcher, but you weren't getting I'm shocked I know how to do a hold. And that kind of came back after COVID, at least from, hearing people's reports. Kind of felt like that, where you had your peak at Tag Festival, and now it's back to, the treadmill story of it, Gotham there, which I guess is fine, but again, this is part of the problem. If you're taping everything and releasing everything like you are here, it does kind of stick out like a sore thumb. But I mean, that was Limback over Corona. Next night they were in Dresden. So again, here you had Ilya Bloom retaining against Lawrence Roman for shotgun belt. So I guess that's the rematch clause stuff over and done with. Same as anything else on here. Joseph Fennick Jr. got a very quick win over a guy I genuinely never heard before, Claymore. Which I guess would be like a shotgun kind of squash, where they would have used done back in the day with a local. Gully's brothers unsuccessful against Hector and Cash, but for me the whole tag shenanigans stuff, that really took me off the match. Main event again, Axeman saves the weekend. Maggot pinning Axeman, so getting himself stronger, big win before Frankfurt. And then Leipzig, which dropped Monday, at least on demand. Again, decent show, but I don't think too much stood out. Main event, they did trios, Dreisker, Roman, Icarus against Maggot, Mudo, and Tahani. Did the whole double count out thing. Then we're not going to have it end like this in the main event in Leipzig. Of course, the good guys won. Then Amboss sent packing. Match from the undercard, which I'll say disappointment is the wrong word, but I really want to see them run this back at some point. Irie and Gullis now. I think Gullis Jr. hasn't had that many matches in XW recently.
yeah,
Have him in regularly, have him in as a monster, then run this back, because I think we've said this in the past, there's absolutely something in Gullis Jr. as a singles guy.
yeah.
But I think right now, he's not a regular. Have him grow into a character, have him grow into his skin a bit more, then run this back, and this will be an absolute cracker in 6, 12 months, whatever it may be.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and it needs to whack it on a weekend when people are really for it. Where I don't know how popular it really is in Leipzig. Do you know what I mean? Do it in one of the big market towns where people will be behind Erie, but also I say if you do it in Oberhausen, it will be. I think you'd get a good partisan crowd for it.
Yep. I guess elsewhere, Alex Duke, I think they said this was his first win beating LSG. And get stuff in the shotgun vlog, they're kind of warming him up for something. I know, I guess one thing after watching all those shows, and I know this feels like it's outrunning a bit, but this would have been someone who could have gotten weeks of content out from Shotgun. Like, it was 7 or 8 matches per show. Even if you pick like 2 matches and put like a sketch or a promo in, you'd get about a good half hour, make it a weekly show. People tune and watch. I mean, that's what got XW up to the height of what we're at. You had your weekly appointment viewing. Shotgun wasn't every week it's an hour long. It was, famously varied start times. I think when you're doing like 3 or 4 shows in a month, and we're all like Wheel of Wrestling and certain number here stuff, only the completists are going to be watching all of them.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people who just skipped and gone, I'm done till Broken Rules at the earliest.
yeah. I think the format. I think the format has been shown up this month because there's just been lots of things which haven't mattered on these shows.
Yep.
And I say there's only so many times you can't do anything massive on these shows because you've got the big marquee events coming. So yeah, they just kind of felt these last couple of shows felt like wrestling for the sake of wrestling. which is fine if you really really love it, and it's really really hot. But I don't think it's really that hot at the moment. It had a lot of goodwill post Tagfest, but then it was also things didn't get released until over a month after Tagfest sort of thing. So yeah, it's not it's really shown the weakness in the format really, and we don't need to rehash the same conversation again.
No, I mean, from these 4 shows, you had 31 matches. Even if you
Yeah,
did like 2 or 3 matches for Shotgun, and I'm not saying you air everything, because back in the day they didn't air everything. But even with like the old single hard cam and maybe one of the mobile cams or something like that, pick and choose. And then, it's the same argument others have made about Rev Pro in the past. You don't have to show everything.
yeah,
Because at the end of the day, if you're watching 4 shows, I mean, I'm looking back at the results now, and you had the title change for Ilya. I think that's maybe the first time I've probably said his name and not said Ilyas and Dragunov. You've had, the, I guess, beginning of the decay of Amboss, and most of that was maybe underlined in the vlog segments. And
yeah.
then Joseph Fennick Jr. joining High Performer Limited, which was the start of the match. That's maybe 3 things over 4 shows. Now, you could very easily, do, show 1, build that around Ilya.
I
Show
just don't
2,
understand why the. Sorry, go for it.
yeah, show 2, do the high performer limited stuff. Do the Dresden, the Bielefeld. They're running into attack Eigel and Irie, and then show the match they had, in Dresden off the back of that. That's a perfect through line. Or maybe split into separate episodes, but at least you've got few points. But the fact you've got 3 clearly big things across 4 shows. And okay, I'm not discounting the women's title matches and defenses and what have you, but the fact we've only got 3 big story points out of 4 shows, you can see why people are hand waving a lot of this stuff.
Well,
And
it was such a chore to watch some of it as well, because I found I basically found the easiest way to do it was to watch about 4 matches an evening over these shows. And yeah, I watched 4 matches an evening. It still took me a bloody week to watch these shows.
yeah,
And that's me watching, and I couldn't have watched the whole show for. If you watched a show an evening, you're still not best part of a week. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
it's
I think what it is,
too
it's the
much.
kind of thing where these triple headers are extremely rare. They usually do these like Carat weekends, which it's something different. With this was a lot of the same. It was plain rice pudding, and above that analogy, if you have a lot of rice pudding, it gets samey.
Yeah,
You end up on something else, which, I mean, let's say it's the kind of thing, it would mean if we did go to like a shotgun format, we've said in the past, they would need to redo the taping format, where we do double headers of the very least, I don't say longer shows, but at least, we've said in the past, have, we saw it, with Fennec, bring in a local guy, someone who maybe isn't a regular on the shows, or maybe does become a regular in match role. Was it Corey back in the day? Who'd always been like the Berlin area shows, but always taking a fall from someone. Have someone like that. I noticed the Dresden show, and I think Leipzig as well. They did have some stuff they didn't air. Mostly with just pulling up results from Cage Match now.
Veritas.
So in Limbach, they had Jane Nero, not related to Julian, beating Alex Duke, but didn't dare. In Dresden, Jane Nero and LSG against Stanley Frey and Alex Duke. And in Leipzig, it was Zeritus and Dieter Schwartz, who I swear I've seen him on Project Nova and Scrunview. Yep. So Dieter Schwartz, mainly from Dresden area, ERW Fight Back, Catch Factory. So he's done a lot of stuff around Dresden and Saxony. Yeah. So names like that bring in and have them just to put over your guy. I mean, the old days of when wrestling was a weekly show. Guess what? Anybody was trying to do before they decided, S1 snorting coke on and lose a TV deal allegedly. it was your star against, I say job guy, but an underneath guy who maybe some, but right now absolutely isn't. And you don't need everyone doing 15-minute matches, because if everyone's doing the same, nobody sticks out. Where if you have, we said the Fennec match against Claymore, 5 minutes, do a promo before or after, job done. Because he's still in the phase of reintroducing Fennec as a new character.
The thing I kind of don't understand is, obviously, I know the shotgun vlog stuff is for YouTube, and it's fine it being a free thing for YouTube. There's absolutely no problem with that. But why aren't the shotgun vlog skits also on the premium product? Because I don't mind. Okay, if you want to release the promos for free on YouTube, that's not a problem. But why aren't these also as part of the actual promotion to give them a bit more context?
Yeah, I guess, and again, this is me just surmising. I don't know the reason why. They tend to bunch these in after a weekender, so it's not like shotgun vlog for Wheel of Wrestling 52. So I guess we probably probably work. We had on the one we dropped today. In fact, we had the amboss stuff. Where they were arguing that seemingly was after the
Yeah.
after the why am I blanking on dates today? After the Leipzig show. You obviously had the Hector and Cash, doing the ladder match drills clearly in Leipzig, because you could, the decor is quite familiar to what the Hellraiser was. But yeah, I suppose it's maybe one of those where it's the getting the time to film. But yeah, I mean, I don't. It's the kind of thing you could easily slot in, after a match, or even at the end of a show, and then put this up with the highlight clips as we're doing on YouTube with the spoilers. But yeah, I mean, I think this probably, I would say this was the norm in clearly because we don't do these triple headers often. I think when you get in these triple headers and you are recording all of them, the format they were put out in as just 3 shows didn't work. But again, I guess speaking of the shotgun vlog, there was an absolute boatload of tidbits coming out of it. I guess some of this stuff is completely outdated now, but like after Tag Festival, they kept up the Dulnick being a bit of a moron thing, ripping up Hector's train ticket, so Hector had to, I guess, hitchhike home, I guess was where they pulled it.
Well, no, he got the train, but then he got fined.
Oh god, yeah, he did the Will Cooling, didn't he? No, it was Benno, wasn't it? Got the fine. And yeah, there's one of your own podcasts. It's not like I've broken anything out. We have moved on to Hani together as a team. Abe Everett, kind of kicking Aaron Walk out of Y2Q as well. He's back in America and he's won. Was it the Creator Pro Championship? So he's on to big things in the States anyway for now. The Maggot stuff to Heisenberg, tying up loose ends. Axel Tischer, continually taking digs with Sebastian Hackel. Robin Christopher Forwerk signing, Tristan Archer, as we've seen. We had a challenge for Bielefeld, Patrick Ball against Robert Dreiskin Matt. I wouldn't say it was a nothing match, but I think it was exactly the way people thought it was going to go, even was non-title. Psycho Michael letting Alex Schneider down. God, this feels like it was a lifetime ago, all this stuff. I guess the main one was Irie not wanting a rematch because he lost to Dreiskin Tag Festival, so that's how we've gotten out of him being in the title picture. After Bielefeld, yeah, Bobby Guns may need some time to get in the swing of things, which I guess is what you would normally be right after we've been a tag team for a while. Robert Dreiskin taking digs at Lawrence Roman for losing the shotgun belt, and that escalated a bit. And then in Saxony, that continued. Roman said, pretty much accusing Dreiskin, saying outright, you got pinned in Oberhausen to lose the belts. Icarus said, well, no, you both lost. That's how tag wrestling works. And yeah, so everyone's pointing towards Amboss, I'll say, falling apart, but definitely all is not well now. We've lost all the belts.
It's very bouncer-esque. This,
yeah.
Yeah.
So who's coming in a hoodie and attacking someone from behind, Ben?
Well, we don't know.
Who's Chris Cole? Well, we'll say Chris Cole's a bit harsh. I mean, we already got rid of Dover, but it feels like, say, it does feel very much like someone's going to be laid out in a bathroom, pre-show, something like that. But yeah, say there's a lot being packed in. Say, some of this stuff, if they put it in with the shows, it probably would make a bit more sense rather than, hey, watch this now, go and watch this, because I know a lot. Okay, you can argue it's free. It's on YouTube. I think a lot of people will carve out time for a show, and if they catch the promos, they'll catch the promos, but it's not nailed on. So yeah, I think maybe a little bit of rejigging going, because I know the next few little while's quite, you've got Broken Rules on Saturday, Hamburg week after, and then damn near a month off. So maybe a bit of time to maybe rejig just how this is going to work, because you're going from virtual feast to near enough a famine after next weekend. But yeah, a whole lot going on. But last couple of bits before we move on, I guess a bit of globetrotting coming up. Yeah, we haven't forgotten the international superstars. So Oscar Leubikow still in New Japan. Usual thing, losing a lot on the Power Struggle tour. Did get a couple of wins, mind you. Teaming with Yoshihashi to beat Tanari and Callum Newman, who's relocated to Japan. Which, I mean, he's doing well, but again, he's young lion over there, so don't expect Callum to be getting much in the way of wins anytime soon. And again, in Osaka, he teamed with Oleg Bolton, Ren Narita, and Shota Umino, beating the United Empire team of Great O'Khan, Jeff Cobb, Will Ospreay, and Callum Newman. So, yeah, and I know the World Tag League Tour is coming up next month, or it's late this month, and Talk with Oscar's going to be in there with Yuta Nakashima, and all I'm going to say is expect a lot of losses. He's a young lion, so it's the norm, but at some point you'd be expecting either an excursion or what they seem to do now is just send them away for a few weeks and then put them back up. Because New Japan have got a few more new young lions around the shows now.
Yeah.
So you'd think Oscar's getting towards the end of his days in the black trunks and maybe a little bit closer to a gimmick.
Get him in Carat.
Get him in Carat, or hey, get him in Ref Pro for a little while and then bring him back for Carat if it's going to be short term.
Oscar and Carat. Oh man, I'd love it.
Just chill on Cube. We'll have some music saved somewhere.
Just screaming.
Mike D. This caught us off guard because I don't think it was really advertised until it was a Turning Point dropped last weekend. He won one of Impact's gut check things, which, or at least the Scottish leg of it now. Harley Hudson and more notably Leon Slater got a lot more publicity for winning as the Coventry tryouts. The three of them get Impact/TNA was going to be after December deals out with developmental deals. But Mike did like the tryout stuff in Scotland and Glasgow, and then he went to Bodyzoy in Belgium and got set alight in a hardcore match by I think it was Jack Sansonom in a freeway, which Jack won to retain the Bodyzoy hardcore belt. So set on fire in Belgium and an Impact contract.
He did also wrestle on the Impact countdown to.
Oh God, yeah, with
he had a match against. He had a match with. Ryan Robertson or something. Ryan Robertson against Rhino and Grado. So, unfortunately, there wasn't very much. I did watch it. There wasn't very much crossover between Rhino and Mike D. Obviously, a bit threatened by Mike D. But yeah, there was he's at least been used by now. So.
Andy Quilden, book Rhino again, book Mike D, and get that. That's a perfect Stevenage match.
Oh, cracking in Stevenage.
The spirit of Southside lives on.
Stevenage would love Mike D. Sure.
I bet a lot of Stevenage would absolutely eat him up.
Yeah, they'd love Mike D. Yeah.
I'm just looking now. Mike D, obviously TNA thing in Newcastle, doesn't come over to England much.
No, he doesn't,
if at all. So. Anyone in the UK listening to this, book him. Like, there's plenty of footage of him. It's not like a one-trick pony thing either.
Unless you're Progress, then don't.
Well, yeah.
They don't listen to us, do they?
So. Not anymore, no. If they were. Anyway, a couple more names. Norman Harris, he's going over back to Canada this month, so probably next episode we'll have a few bits and pieces there. But Vinny Vortex, Leighton Buzzard won and lost gold in Big Japan. So Mark Buckledy from Must See Matches was over in Japan last month, I want to say. Saw a bunch of Big Japan shows. And it's a group with Tempesta. Oh, yep, Fuminori Abe and Takuna Mori. Yeah. My God, I'm going off topic of hell, but my God, you've seen that.
Yeah.
That
The only
to
legitimate 5-star of 2023.
Yeah. I mean, I know the meme is no standing and pacing. I was watching, I was like, holy hell, how's anything going to follow this?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you haven't seen it, it's on, I think, so Wrestle Universe, the Noah DDT service, and other copies elsewhere if you want to, have ad block and all that turned on. But, absolute hell of a match. I mean, you saw them, in, obviously Tag League, so Tag Fest. Missing branding. I keep calling it freaking Tag League. It's Tag Fest, and it has been for years. But was it the Abe's debut last year? The video they introduced him with, it was him just beating Seven Shades of what out in the Moor, and that was just for promo.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, for about 20 minutes, and yeah, if you haven't seen it, go off your way to find a copy of it. It is absolutely worth your time. For me, it's one of, if not my match of the year right now.
Yeah, it's the only.
And
yeah,
I think we've gone back covers.
Yeah, undoubtedly my match of the year. But anyway, I digress.
So anyway, back in Big Japan, Tempesta and Leighton Buzzard, they won the Yokohama Shopping Street 6-man tag team titles in Yokohama, beating Daichi Hashimoto, Kazumasa Yoshida, and Yasufumi Nakanue. Hashimoto was in Tag Festival a few years back. Anyway, they were part of a group that they were calling the Nanyanen World Order, because of course NWO. They've now changed that name to Project Havoc, all caps. But unfortunately, we've lost those belts October 28th in Tokyo to Yoshida, Nakanui, and Daisuke Sekimoto. So we're keeping the faint direction tie-ins going there. But yeah, they're part of the group in Big Japan now. And there's a few people, I think Daimonji So, Endakawa as well. And Endakawa, another XW name. So yeah, all those lads staying over and yeah, just doing more than just having a few matches on the card. It seems they're being given something to put behind, at least in terms of this Project Havoc stuff. But yeah, that's about it in terms of directory names around the world. Not much either coming up in terms of shows. Of course, we've got Broken Rules 21 this weekend in the Batch Cap in Frankfurt, sold out. Main event is Maggot challenging Robert Dreisk for the Unified World Wrestling title. Sebastian Hackle taking on Safar Amin. Ava Everett defends the Women's World title against Masha Slamovich in the last women's standing match. Dennis Stolnik and Hector Invictus defending the tag titles in a ladder match against Icarus and Roman and Fast Time Mood and Peach Tahani. Anil Marek challenges Ilya Bloom for the shotgun belt. And on the undercard, we've got Akane Fujita against Baby Allison again. Alex Duke against Bobby Guns, Kohei Kinoshita and Shigehiro Irie, and Joseph Fennick Jr. and Tristan Archer of High Perform Limited against Igor Blanc and Mike D. And we touched on the shotgun stuff. Did you see the segment when Forber gave Fennick the carrot spot?
Yes.
Already trouble in paradise there, just from Tristan Archer's looks. And I mean, Anil Marek, I mean, if you thought you get my spot, I don't know what to tell you, mate, but clearly Archer was having a lot harder time composing himself than Anil was. But so maybe a bit too soon to do the whole Trouble in Paradise, given they've only just been part of this faction for a month. But yeah, we'll see. Then November 18th, we're back in Hamburg, this time at the Grunschbahn, so that's the all-standing room only venue. Ilya Bloom, if he's still champion, defends the shotgun belt against Francesco Akira. Hector and Cash will defend the tag titles against Mudo and Tahani, unless, of course, they lose them to Ambosses Lawrence Roman and Icarus. Those two take on Rotten Flot. Bobby Guns takes on Shigehiro Irie, which is one I'll be keeping a very close eye on. Anil Marek takes on Sebastian Hackle, oh dear. And Anita Vaughn returns against Kohei Kinoshita, which there's a match I was not expecting at all, let alone Anita being on the card. But
that's pressing the shuffle button, isn't it?
It's very much was it South Park, the whole manatee booking stuff. I'm not saying we've just drawn names out of a hat, but it's very, I'm not nothing against this match. It just feels very much like Kenosha's in town. Everyone loved Anita Vaughan at Tag Festival weekend. Give it a go. I mean, who knows?
Yeah,
This may be a springboard for Anita next year. No, the Diva started using her later this week. She's going to be on. So, yeah, everyone's got to start somewhere, I guess.
exactly. Yeah, it's very much like Fire Pro pressing random wrestler. That one for me.
Also, how Tony Khan books half of collisions, it seems, these days. But and then December 23rd, so after Grunge Band, nothing for over a month. WXW 23rd anniversary show of the Oberhausen the Turbine Hall in Oberhausen, get my teeth in, on December 23rd. And announced today Mike Loku against Alex Kane in a Carat qualifier. So, yeah, there's either going to be a lot of suplex or someone's going to be playing in March next year.
Yeah, it's that's a great. They're two people who I would have loved to have in Carrot, so it kind of seems a shame to lose one of them. But yeah, I think that's a very exciting match, and hopefully Payne is actually around maybe for a few other bookings around that time.
We can only hope. I mean, obviously, the whole thing. Was he still, I believe it's. Let me check because no, he is still the MLW champion. But I
MLW's
also,
contract situation's a bit sketchy at the moment.
uh, you could say that. So they've got at Fightland weekend after next, and he's defending against Jacob Fatu for MLW. And then we've got another pay per view, one shot in New York on December 12th, defending against Matt Cardona. So could very well be gets to Oberhausen. Um, only Michael, well, by the time he gets to Oberhausen, Alex Kay may no longer be champion, and Michael Oak may no longer be champion if Zach Gibson gets his way in Crystal Palace a week earlier. But that's a lot of surmising across a lot of different promotions. But we do have a poster image for the anniversary show. So on top of Kane and Oku, you've got Tristan Archer, Fennec Jr., Icarus, Axel Tischer, Idle Blanc, Mike D, Bobby Guns, Baby Allison, Tihani, Yearn, Lavaniel, Maggot, Hector and Cash, and Dreisker and Roman. So pretty much all the big names you'd expect. And it's the last show of the year for XW. Yeah, and after that, nothing on the cards until mid to late January for TBA. That's usually back to roots, and I guess we'd confirm that over anniversary weekend. And then very much, on the road to Carrot. But yeah, a lot of shows this past month, and not too much of next month. But who knows? Maybe next time we sit down and record this, Mike, maybe new world champion, maybe a lot more direction heading into, if not anniversary, definitely for Carrot.
Yeah, and obviously the other thing you got to think of is very shortly after anniversary we're looking at the kayfabe slug, so you kind of have to see where people are positioning themselves for that as well. So
Yeah, I mean, we didn't, apart from Bielefeld, had nothing from the GMC in these one shows, not even mentioned. But again, we've, from the Tag Festival weekend, it's not like the reverse to just heating up out of nowhere. So who knows? I mean, we've said this before, the fact that a lot of the 2024 calendar, there's a lot of event named TBAs to be announced, tells me that either they're keeping stuff close to their chest or they're not confirming stuff. I mean, I'm looking now, January TBA, February TBA, obviously Carrots confirmed, March and Frankfurt TBA. We've got True Colours, Dresden's kept that, but then, May in Hamburg, June in Oberhausen, July in Frankfurt, August in Oberhausen, even the festival next autumn in Oberhausen TBA. So I think there's a lot of stuff still being worked on, at least by the look of these. And we'll see if January is K-Fix Tracked or whether it's something completely different. But we will see. As we keep saying, plenty of wrestling to be done before then. But Mike, anything to plug before we get out of here?
no, not for me at the moment. But yeah,
How are you
to
doing
see it.
after Luton this past weekend? No, pro checking the scores like how the bloody hell, and then of course 95th minute. But
I was happy with the result regardless. I would have probably bitten your arm off for a point anyway, and you can't be disappointed with that. Right,
a
I'm
point,
looking forward to hopefully taking Ten Hag's scalp back with me down the M6 on Saturday.
well, I mean, the way they've been doing that, I don't know if the odds are, but maybe worth putting a couple of quid on at least, given away my night it's been lately. Yeah, so yeah, you can find us. You're at Mike Kilby on pretty much everyone on social media, whether we're used or not. I'm at Ian Wrestling on Twitter, X, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads. I think I use maybe one of them these days. At Big Back Body Drop on Twitter, at Back Body Drop on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and all that for photos and all that. Yeah, that's been up to Fresse, and I guess to avoid preemptive questions, Tristan Archer's breakfast sandwich. Look in the album art image, and you can thank the astronauts for that particular meme. But thanks for listening this week, folks. Follow us on social media, and yep, if the album art hasn't made you hungry, take another look, and we'll see you probably late November, early December. Stay safe and cheers.
Cheers.